haven't seen Mr. Tyler. Is anybody?
Tyler?
Yeah, is William? Did he mention anything to either of you?
William?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he got called in this morning for duty.
Oh.
He had to fly out this evening. So.
Okay. All right. All right. Well.
But he had sent the
minutes.
Yeah.
Do you have those? By any chance, Nathan?
Yeah, I think I
In
do.
your email.
Would you mind reading those?
No, not a bit.
Great. I'll keep the minutes for tonight.
So we have quorum here with.
Yeah.
Okay.
3
3
does
to
it.
5. All right. APDC. Let's see what we got here. Alrighty. That's the agenda. Minutes. Do you know what the subject was on those minutes? Maybe
I didn't see the email.
it's okay. Who is it from again?
William Lloyd.
Oh, there we go.
Lloyd. I'm
There we
sorry.
go, minutes.
I don't know why I said that. Tyler. I think William Lloyd was, yeah.
All right, so meeting minutes, Tuesday, March 7th, 2023, Reader Building. Call to order at 7:31 p.m. Present, Chairman Dwyer, Scullambrini, Lloyd, Lockwood. Review of minutes. You were at the last one?
I don't recall.
Uh,
Says I wasn't?
Doesn't have your last your
McGrath.
McGrath. Yeah, no, you're not listed as present.
I missed that one.
Oh, then it says review of minutes. Chair Dwyer voted to approve, seconded by Scullambrini, approved by Dwyer, Scullambrini, and Lloyd. Lockwood and McGrath abstained.
because you hadn't been at the previous meeting, so you were at that one. It was the previous one that you missed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So maybe that's a minor modification there
Yeah,
to the
okay.
present list.
yeah.
Phillips House, Philps. Is it Phelps? I've never
Probably
seen it.
Phelps is what he meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's spelled. It's current here. It's spelled Philps. It's probably meant to be Phelps. Historical windows were replaced without building permit. Asked about penalty if were completed without permit. Issuance of fines if building permits are not issued. Create a process so when homes sell within the district, the new owners are aware of the process of routing work to APDC.
Okay.
Yeah, we might add to that item that I believe we agreed that we did not believe we should be pursuing any further action on that specific instance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
could agree. Yeah.
That
That's
might
long
be
gone by.
worth noting, yeah. Okay, whoops, new business. New draft of CTA, which, what did that stand for? Certificate
To alter.
to alter. Okay.
Mhm.
Review, filing fee, is it needed? We'll have to research history of the fee. Requested documents within the CTA are all needed. Questionnaire to replace statements, I'm just reading what it says here. Questionnaire to replace statements of evaluations. Documentation of applications that do not apply to 113B need to be recorded. How? There's no question marks here, that's a statement apparently. Need to discuss with town clerk about application fee and dual submittal of applications. Flowchart. No update of sketch of the process will change if CTA draft adapted. Submission date. Could have to wait 30 days for answer depending on submission. Which I think the discussion was, there was some discussion that may or may not be a problem.
Right.
Report from Historical Commission. Putting together a veteran banner project will submit plan to APDC.
Okay.
Yep. And that was from you, I believe. Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Old business. 50 Main Street, former Methodist Church. Falling into a status of demolition by neglect within the APD's power to ask building inspector issue a cease and desist order to stop the demolition by neglect. Order can cause loss of ability to apply for building permit for 2 years. Member Lockwood will talk to owner and might ask to come to board to discuss the location. Prior notice of violation sent Chair Dwyer, but unknown if notice ever made it to the owner. That was old business 1. Old business 2 is town pound in disrepair. Member McGrath asked to allow him to create a plan for restoration. Will deconflict with the sale of the property to avoid any concerns with the sale. I think it's sold. In fact, I think,
Did it?
yeah, I think the new buyer moved in. We'll check with the assessor to see if the parcel includes the town pound. Additionally, he will look into the process of clearance for his plan. Other business, none. Next meeting. New meeting scheduled Tuesday, April 4th, 2023, adjourned at 8:59 p.m. And that is the minutes.
Okay.
So, motion to approve of those modifications.
Okay. Do you want a
I
second?
second, yes.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, it's yeah, when they're just read as is, they are a bit terse. They do kind of lack context. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to understand exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there is the recording as well, and because it's on YouTube, it's transcripted or whatnot. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you feel like the minutes are adequate, or do we need to?
I think a little more detail might be, like you said, context.
Yeah.
For the first part, I understood the rest of it, but the beginning, I had to jog my memory to.
Yeah. And certainly for somebody who wasn't at the meeting reading the minutes, I'm not sure it would really mean much to them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in particular, and I mean, first of all, no criticism of William, who did this service taking them. I think it is helpful also to ensure that like any kind of decisions or discussion around potential decisions is captured as well. You know,
Yeah.
so we can kind of understand where the discussion was at least leaning, if not decisive, on
Yes.
the topic.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's, I mean, if I had done it, I wouldn't have gotten as much detail as he did, so hats off to him. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
some constructive suggestions.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat that I'm grateful that he does them, you know, that he includes details. And I guess if we feel like they're adequate, then we will just leave it at that. But I could at least
Yeah.
speak to him and just to say,
Yep.
okay. All right, very good. And very good. Public comment. Seems there is no public comment. Do you happen to have the agenda? Just I came straight from work and
Yeah, I got the agenda.
if you wouldn't mind refreshing me.
Not at all.
Thank you.
Okay, the agenda. Okay, call to order. Opening public comment. Review of minutes. Correspondence. Nothing there. Old business. Ritter Building application update.
I did have correspondence.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. From the Jen Doherty from Mass Historic Commission sent out a draft vision for goals and objectives for 2023 to 2031, the Mass State Historic Preservation Plan. The vision statement: historic preservation efforts in Massachusetts will include the Commonwealth's full range of historic, cultural, and archaeological resources, from all of the groups and peoples who have settled here. Historic preservation will be integrated into local and state planning processes, supporting sustainable and resilient development in all the Commonwealth's communities. Local, regional, and state agencies will have the funding and technical resources they need to carry out their desired historic preservation activities. Excuse me. There are 5 goals, each with 6 objectives. Building capacity. Build capacity for historic preservation work within communities and the state. Provide funding for physical preservation work, preservation planning, and technical support. Provide opportunities for the ongoing education of local historical and historic district commissions, municipal officials and staff, and other local preservationists such as local community preservation committees. Provide the regulatory update, educational materials on key historic preservation topics for state agencies, municipalities, and private property owners. Nurture a network of nonprofit organizations, education programs, and professionals that can provide technical assistance to local communities. Encourage the growth of preservation trades programs to undertake physical preservation work. Support advanced degree historic preservation programs through internships, alumni networks, and outreach to professors and students. Documentation and protection. Document and protect the Commonwealth's historic and archaeological resources. Establish, update, and expand community-wide and targeted historic and archaeological surveys. Survey, list, and designate the full range of historic resources in the Commonwealth by type, period, theme, association, and location. Provide incentives such as favorable grant scoring to survey, list, or designate resources associated with underrepresented communities. Advocate for the protection of historic and archaeological resources through the federal and state regulatory review processes. Encourage and provide technical support for the use of a variety of regulatory protection measures at the local level, such as local historic districts, demolition delay, preservation restrictions, and historic preservation friendly zoning. Recognize that resources can be significant not only for their architecture, but also for their cultural associations. Housing and economic development. Support housing and economic development efforts with historic preservation. Incorporate historic preservation more fully into the local, regional, and state planning and development processes. Advocate for historic preservation as an important piece of the state's and individual communities' economic development strategies. Support the development of additional housing units and especially affordable housing units in historic buildings. Develop and encourage the use of creative planning tools to make use of historic resources for affordable housing. Publicize research and highlights the positive connections between historic preservation, housing, and economic development. Network with groups connected to development work, such as realtors and builders, and educate them on the positive role historic preservation can play in their work. Sustainability and resiliency. Position historic preservation as an important piece of a sustainable, resilient Commonwealth. Make connections with organizations planning for resiliency to highlight concerns about impacts to historic and archaeological resources. Collaborate with emergency management officials at the local, state, and federal levels on disaster preparedness, response, and recovery. Work with open space protection organizations to highlight the significance of cultural landscapes and the role they can play in strengthening the Commonwealth's resiliency to climate change. Demonstrate that historic resources are inherently sustainable through publicizing research data. Seek collaborative efforts with energy-saving professionals, contractors, building officials, architects, and developers regarding best practices for rehabilitation and infill development. promote and provide technical support for the use of regulatory measures at the local level that support sustainability and resiliency, such as design guidelines and deconstruction bylaws and ordinances. Public outreach and education. Raise the level of public awareness about historic preservation, educate the public about historic preservation's benefits and tools. Encourage local historical and historic district commissions to make connections with other municipal boards and staff, regional planning agencies, and state agencies to make historic preservation a key piece of the planning landscape. Translate important preservation documents such as preservation plans and informative materials on programs into additional languages. Develop strong connections with diverse groups not typically engaged in historic preservation activities. Make use of new media and methods to educate the public about historic preservation and historic resources in their community. Encourage the development of local or regional nonprofit historic preservation advocacy organizations. Develop and share data and statistics that can be utilized for historic preservation advocacy. That's it.
Okay, so that was
And that was from the
from Mass Historic,
Mass
and they were just
Historic. They come up with a 7-year plan, 8-year plan
okay.
for their goals going forward. So they submitted this to local historic commissions and architectural preservation district commissions, municipalities to get feedback on what they are planning.
Okay. All right. It seems very complete.
Yes.
All right. Great. I mean, I think a report from the Historic Commission was also probably. I think that's the next item on the agenda.
Yeah, just a comment on on that report. So, well, I mean, yeah, there's not. I mean, it's pretty high level. Like, there's. I don't know that it's clear what that translates into. I guess what interests me about it is, as you said, very comprehensive. I guess what interests me about it is if there will be any renewed emphasis on things like, I don't know, funding for the Community Preservation Act, CPA, or that sort of thing, to kind of put more tools, as we've discussed a little bit, in the toolbox of the Historical Preservation Committee in town, so that we can have, like, more stronger carrot-based approaches to helping conduct preservation. But
yeah. Well, the CPA is still going to be there. And that's been an important thing in a lot of communities for preservation, for town hall renovations, city hall renovations, cemetery restoration, parks restoration, historic parks. I mean, for a tremendous amount of things. The Historical Commission advocated for a number of years that the town adopt the CPA, but there was no will to do that in the town.
yeah, I think that might be something, I don't know if the APDC wants to do that role, but we could talk with the Historical Preservation Committee about maybe approaching that effort anew. Things change and maybe how to best do that. I think tying it into some of the work that we're doing here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And helping tie it into, helping make this work most effective. And, I think sometimes when people, there might be an opportunity to communicate in a way that, I think people in Lunenburg really do care about their history and about the heritage of the town. It, in part, is represented by historic structures and sites, and I think helping folks understand how that works with things like the APDC to kind of create a complete package which reduces the burden that's put on any one individual or institution in the town to do historical preservation might be a selling point. And I mean, CPA does involve a modest tax increase, so I think absent that information, he asks people to increase taxes, and it's like, but maybe we can come up with some clever ways to better help people appreciate the value of it
Yeah.
next time around.
I think last time we discussed it with the Historic Commission, I don't think was it a blanket increase in excise tax, or I thought there was going to be a fee put on real estate transactions.
My understanding, it's a real estate, and every piece of real estate that's sold in the state, there's a 1% or something like that fee added to it that goes to the CPA.
Right.
So all that money is there in a fund in the communities that have signed up for the CPA receive that money
Right, you
for
can
their
get
project.
matching funds from
Right.
that.
So
yes,
Lunenburg's residents that are selling their, people that are buying in Lunenburg are paying that fee.
Right.
That
Right.
fee, but we're not getting the benefit of it.
Right.
Oh, okay. So it's already being paid, but we're not.
Yeah,
It's already being paid into the state so that the state will have matching funds for communities
Right.
that adopt community
Right.
preservation.
I think adopting the CPA does also involve a modest increase in property tax or something.
I think it does,
It's not
yes.
entirely free.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So, but I mean, I do think there's a compelling value proposition. I think if we start working with the other boards to have a conversation around the benefits,
Mm-hmm.
that we can go from there. Especially if, to your point, if unlocking that does bring in additional monies. So if it's not like if it's sort of a multiplier, like you agree to increase a modest levy, but that gets whatever doubled
Yeah.
or something through that. Those arguments can often be quite compelling to taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think last time really it was Rebecca Landry that was really trying to push it through, and it never. I don't think it even went on to the select board. Just didn't put it on the warrant. There was
Yeah,
now's not the
select
time.
board
We're not
had no,
interested.
right, yeah.
But that's something she didn't do, is like really coordinate with other boards and committees and like see who else would be interested in.
Okay, yeah. I mean, could we track that maybe as part of our? Oh well, no. I guess it would be for the historical commission, but
Yeah, well-
we would certainly be willing. I think we would be willing to work with the historical commission to make that case, because I think having, in our efforts to maybe streamline it, well, kind of evolve the APDC,
Mhm.
I think having a historical commission that can sort of has the resources to do the deeper preservation stuff, so that we don't depend on all that being in sticks,
Yeah.
penalties in the APDC.
Mm-hmm.
That can create a greater balance and help us achieve our goals. So
Sure.
if we kind of shoulder that load, so I think we'd be. I mean, I don't know if we want to make a motion for it, but I think just informally, I think we'd all be happy to partner with the historical
Yeah.
committee on that.
I'll send out an email to you from the Historical Commission proposing a joint meeting on that topic, and then we can set that up. And that'll be a good starting point.
That'd be great. I think the CPA is a natural. Like that seems like the most fundamental. I think there's also other similar opportunities. Probably like there's a lot of positive things you could see in that review there.
Yeah.
I think the other piece of it is maybe figuring out how do we build. You talked about capacity growth. How do we build the capacity in the historical committee or whatever the proper town organ is, whether it's the historical committee or under the planning director or whatever. How do we figure out how to best pursue, like grant and program opportunities that either are available or going to become available, kind of in a similar vein to the CPA, but just different
Yeah.
programs
Sure.
to funnel resources to the town
Yeah.
and expertise around historical preservation.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I have a piece of correspondence as well. It
Great.
turns out, but I don't know. You tell me, Cullen, where you want to deal with this in the agenda. So I did speak with Rob Bowen about was it 50 Main Street?
50 Main, yeah.
Mhm.
And so I got some. I mean, I spoke with him. I sent him an email. I got an email back. Do we want to deal with that? Is it an old business item or is it a correspondence item?
I would consider that old business. Correspondence is usually when somebody contacts us with some new
Random thing.
kind
Okay.
of thing.
Got it.
But that's okay. Why don't we get to that
Yeah, we'll take that in order. That's
Okay,
fine.
sure, great, yeah. So that is our correspondence, yes? Any further correspondence received by us?
That's it for me.
Okay. I have not received any. Nathan, do you get the town email, the Lunenburg mass.gov email? Do you have one of those addresses?
Yes, I do.
You do. Okay.
I have not
Do you
looked
look at it?
yet.
Okay. All right. All right.
I have to log in and all that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I've had trouble. I haven't been using it either, and I haven't been able to log in. And I think it might be as simple as the fact that I just don't have the right link to the proper login page. It might be as simple as that.
Mm.
But I've written to various people trying to get that link, and nobody's helped me out. So
Let me see.
if you happen to have it,
I bet I do.
okay.
Okay. So Elaine reached out to help at suzorit.com.
Yes.
So I believe that is probably where I would start.
SUZOR.
SUZOR.
Okay. I think I .com.
Yep. So it's
Okay.
help at suzorit.com.
Oh, IT.com. Okay. I'll try that.
Suzorit.
Suzor IT. Yeah. I think I did. Yeah, I think I did contact them, but they.
And so if they are not responding to you, I would recommend contacting Elaine Peterson.
Okay.
That would be E. Peterson.
Yeah.
E is in E, Peter is in Peter, Son is in Son, at lunenburgma.gov.
Got that one. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So much for correspondence. I think we're on to old business,
Oh, yeah, let me get the agenda back up.
if you don't mind.
Not at all.
I think it was.
Correspondent old business. Ritter Building Application Update.
Right. Okay. I think I did send out the email letter that I sent to the select board, just explaining that we're just waiting for them to reapply. And I've not heard anything back. That was over a month ago now. So
Does, you sent that to who, I'm sorry? The
I
buildings?
sent it to the town manager and the select board.
Do you, just, if the town manager has office hours, maybe schedule some time with her. Might be good.
Okay.
Otherwise, we could be. Would you be, if you're up with that or down with that,
Sure.
up for that?
Do you think that? I mean, I kind of felt like it's kind of, I told them it's in their court now, and just it's up to
Okay.
them. So.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
but I don't think we need to inquire any further than that letter.
Okay, so if you're happy, just leaving it at that. That's fine.
I guess. I mean, I'm assuming that they are kind of like regrouping and kind of reevaluating their plan, and
Yeah, I'm happy to let this lie myself, honestly, because
Yep.
I mean the reality is, I don't know how important any of this. Like, to me, this is like if it can all wait until there's a planned, like what extension on the Ritter building or something. Like,
yeah.
I would just soon whatever's done rolled into that,
Yeah.
anyways myself. So
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah.
I mean, there was a planned new entranceway with a handicap access ramp. That was the main thing of the application that they did submit, but also just general renovations to the exterior of the building,
Okay.
painting and things like that. I think we.
Okay, that's the Ritter update. All
Yeah, I hope they don't feel like they're waiting for us for anything. That's but I thought that made it clear that,
It was clear.
okay. Okay,
All right, review bylaw enforcement in a coordination with building inspector.
all right. No news on that. I did reach out to him, but only a few days ago, with questions about exactly that, about how the building department normally deals with cases where people have violated, or violated the law or done work without a building permit, what he does for enforcement. And I also put it out to him if he would be open to working more closely with the APTC as through the application process. That because that's another thing I think we discussed, that we ought to work more closely with the building inspector so that people don't have to submit an application to land use and the town clerk, or they can just go with that. It should be part of the building permit process. Yeah, hoping to hear back from him about that, or at least or schedule a time to meet with him, but I don't have any definitive answers or response right now.
Okay, so I guess that'll continue on in the old business department.
Yeah.
Okay, continuing discussion of bylaw review and revisions of rules and regulations. I didn't prepare for that personally. Like, I think we need to like,
Yeah, we should have the full body here for
Yeah,
that
we should
too.
have the full body, and I think we should discuss in the meeting before, like, all right, this is next meeting, we're gonna do X, and so we can all really
Mhm.
drill into that. Not just like get the agenda 2 weeks before and then like say, oh, what are we talking about? Like,
Right. Yeah.
that's a lot of homework on that one.
It is, and it's such a broad topic. I think I completely agree. I think we need to drill down into specific topics. So I feel like in recent months we kind of looking at the kind of the flow chart, the workflow chart, or the application flow chart.
Yeah.
That's something we looked at. Revising the application form was another thing we looked at, which I think led us into the whole discussion of just like really what should they have to submit, who should we submit it to.
Mhm.
All right.
So I feel like those are in process. And then another thing that I think you brought up is that if we were gonna do a bylaw review, we would revise the rules and regulations
Yeah.
at the same time. That would be
Up to, yeah, I mean,
harmony.
I'd be willing to sign up to sort of initiate a redraft for discussion, sort of a straw man draft to bring in for July. That would give me 3 months to do it.
Right. Okay.
I think I'll need that much just 'cause I'm doing a lot of traveling for work between now and then.
Yeah.
But let's and do a status update at each meeting in between. So
Okay. Now the bylaw is a fairly short document. The rules and regulations is a longer one. What are you thinking of?
let me start with the bylaw.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
go there, and then we can reflect on what implications that will have for the rules and regulations together.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I mean, let's have the conversation around that, and based on that conversation, see where we land. Let's take one at a time.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think we, in terms of the intent of the bylaw, I feel like there's still kind of philosophical issues about what the whole thing is, like what it's supposed to do and how it's supposed to
Right.
do it.
So-
I think before you get too deep into the wording of a new bylaw, I think we do need to come to some sort of agreement on what the bylaw should be saying, and kind of in a plain English word, and then draft something that would accomplish that.
Yeah, I mean, I think drafting a strong. I mean, I think the approach I will take is basically what I outlined in our previous meetings on
Mhm.
the original intent of the draft, which I think was a good, constructive conversation. I don't know that everyone was on the same page, but I think that having a straw man draft that elaborates on that
Mhm.
will help drive that conversation in a forward in a concrete way so that people can react not to generalities but to specific,
Mhm.
more specific, like what would it mean to have that approach captured in a bylaw kind of thing.
Okay. Are you thinking of just like scrapping the whole thing and starting from zero, or like amending certain portions of it, or?
Well, I'll pull it into the document with revision control and start and take a look at it and see where it goes, basically.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I think I can't, it's hard to, it's been a while since I've read it, so,
Yeah.
you know, I think it could turn out that just clarifying some ambiguity, and part of our discussion was providing more examples.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can clarify the ambiguity in different directions, right? So
Right.
I would clarify it in the direction that I kind of outlined when we met, which was related to what I perceived as being there when we drafted it as the intent, which would be more towards less of a complete historical preservation
Mm-hmm.
bylaw and more towards an anti-demolition bylaw that did have preservational elements, but in terms of its intent was, you know, it's all a gradient of, like, you know, maintain everything intact versus like the principle that I think the current APDC kind of latched onto, which was don't degrade versus
Right.
don't demolish. Like there's sort of different levels.
Yeah. Certainly. Yeah.
Right. So, so I'll capture something there, and we can discuss that. And I think, I don't know, my sense is that we had a pretty good discussion early on,
Mm-hmm.
but I think putting some stakes in the ground that we can react to and have conversations around will help us get to a more concrete place, and then we
Okay.
can figure out, do we need a new draft? Do we need to modify that draft, or
Sure.
that sort of
Okay.
thing?
Excellent. Great. Yeah. Fantastic.
I guess I should probably take notes on this. Somebody, because
Yeah.
our awesome note taker's not here, so
Okay.
give me a sec. Okay. All right. So let's see. Richard, I have no notes right now. So you read in.
Were you taking?
I'm
Minute?
taking minutes.
Oh, you
Yes.
are taking minutes.
Yeah,
Okay, you
so
got
I
it. Okay. So you can write down that I signed up for
Okay. Yes. Yes. That
Yeah,
was
it's
an
in
action
writing
item.
now.
for July for
Yeah.
the
We're at
bylaw
deadline.
draft, bylaw straw man in July. That's 3 months.
Okay.
So
For July. Great. Excellent. All right.
50 Main.
Yes. Why don't we discuss 50 Main?
um, 50 Main Street. Yeah. Okay. A few things to talk about there. So first of all, I think great conversation with Rob Bowen.
Mm-hmm.
Some context. You know, Rob and I presume the rest of the owners in that condominium association do care a lot about the historical nature of the building and do want to protect and preserve it.
Great.
They recently spent substantial money on the foundation, some structural elements of the foundation to keep portions of the building from, you know, collapsing or whatever. And they also recently had the whole building painted at significant expense. So you know, it's in a lot better shape in some ways than it was a few years ago.
Great.
They're in the process of, they've gotten some bids to repair a leak in the slate roof, and they're planning to maintain the slate. So I think that a
Great.
further sign of their commitment to the preservation of many important historic aspects of that structure. They also got a bid on the steeple,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so I think so they got bids on both those things, and I think, you know, I just in the course of the conversation gave them some what was the word, couple contractors I've worked with that he can check out as well if he's looking for a second, another competitive bid or something like that.
Mhm.
Some folks that I thought are pretty good, including folks that have worked on my historic property that I've been pretty happy with. He had some questions. And any question before I turn to the questions he has?
What was the plan for the steeple repairs?
He got a bid for it. I talked to him a little bit about how, kind of like, I think, from the board standpoint, like, minimal thing we were looking for would be assurance that it was in such condition that it would not be further decaying.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
the bid he got, I'm not sure he was 100% sure what the bid covered, but it was like for some kind of repair. I don't know, to what degree. So, I don't know if we want to get into the amount of those bids or whatever, but
No.
let's, but so he was soliciting a bid on that as well. Well, give me 1 second. So, he was interested in asking the APDC or the historical committee if they had contractors that they might recommend.
Okay.
So that's one thing.
Okay.
He's also interested if there are any grants available to help, with any of that work as well, particularly the steeple.
Yeah.
So as a matter of, so just to recap, we talked about this. He restated this. So there's a center professional condo. The units are, there's 2 units that are, there's 2 units, there's 3 units. Rob owns 2, and Center Professional Condo, which I think is sort of somehow related to David Duvall Protective Services, owns the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe they're all under Center Property Realty Trust or something like that. He says the letter probably should have gone to the condominium association. Rob never received the letter that was sent. Hang on, and so I did send him what you sent me.
Okay.
I turned it into a PDF and sent it to him. He had some other questions. Give me 1 sec. I wonder if you could provide, this is the letter, what you sent me, he said, I wonder if you could provide info about the date it was mailed and to what address. He mentions that his name was not correct on that letter, which, let's see, I can dig it up and see. I mean, so first of all, just to be clear, he's like, it was a very cordial meeting. It was not an adversarial situation here.
Good.
Sorry, I'm just gonna look up and see what he's talking about with the. My internet connection's not amazing here. Oops. Huh. Yeah, not amazing doesn't do it quite justice. Let's see. You don't have the Wi-Fi password for this building, do you?
I do not.
Okay.
I know. I did it one time and it's on my laptop. I doubt it's on my phone.
All right. All right. Yeah. For some reason, it's not connecting to my hotspot here. Let me try this one more
Okay.
time.
Let me see if I can. I'll see if I can find it.
I'm not even seeing a route or anything. Okay, here we go. There we go. I'm okay now.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for the delay here.
No
It's
worries.
gonna be a really painful video for folks to watch, I'm afraid. Set. Okay, here we go. So. Oh, yeah, it was spelled Mr. Robert H. Bowden.
Bowden, yeah, okay.
So that might be an issue. But anyways, he says he didn't. Bottom line is he didn't receive it.
Right.
And he wanted to know specifically what was the date it was mailed, to what address was it mailed. He says he is personally 50 Main Street, Suite 1. If they didn't put Suite 1 on the address, it might have gone to Protective Services Suite 2.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to confer with the other unit owner. So, I mean, this is like... So that's kind of where it's at right now. So, I think what I talked to him about was, does anyone here... Do we think there's any grant money available that we're aware of for the steeple?
No.
No, okay. Does anyone have any recommendations regarding contractors that might be good for that type of work?
No.
Yeah, okay. So I think I'll get back to him on that. I'll check in with him on his conversation with his co-occupant there. And I think the next thing is simply to see how it's going with his plans to. I think he's planning to go forward with the roof work at some
Yeah,
point,
that's good. Yeah.
and then see as far as the steeple goes. Just I'll see if see if he's got any more detail from the contractor regarding like if there's. I think he was going to go back and see if there was like sort of a base version and a Cadillac version in terms of like,
Yeah.
It'd be nice just to stabilize it and not necessarily restore it to what it was 15 years ago when it was intact, but to just keep it from further deteriorating.
Mhm.
Okay.
What usually happens next is it deteriorates to a certain extent, and then the steeple's gone. And then it's no longer the old Methodist church. Well, I mean, it is, but
Yeah.
it's lost its character, its signature.
Right. Features. Yeah.
Mm.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder also if we could, maybe we could contact them, send them another letter, and Richard, would you be interested in inspecting the steeple and?
To what purpose?
I don't know, giving recommendations on like what needs to happen or
That's not my department, no.
not really. Okay. I'd be happy to take a look at it, but I don't feel like I have a lot of particular expertise
Yeah.
on it. I don't really understand it.
It looks like from driving by, standing there looking at it, just looks like it needs to be, the woodwork needs to be taken care of, and it needs to be painted, and
Yeah.
whatever flashings are involved with the roof need to be taken care of.
I just
The
wondering.
the details have fallen off, the urns on the top, and a lot of things are missing from that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing at one time it had a roof over it, like a conical roof, right?
No, I had the Methodist churches were square,
Okay, just a square
rectangular
top.
steeple,
Okay.
yeah, and there was four posts on top of it, and then it had wood urns on top of the posts for four urns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was
Just
quite
like a
nice.
little feature there. Okay. Yeah, I mean that would be a great thing if we had some funding that we could, contribute towards, restoring it. If he's an interested property owner that, if we had funds, that's like, hey, let's put it back the way it was and have the posts and the decorative
Yeah.
work on it and stuff like that. Right now, we really don't, unless, I mean, we do have some, we have,
And I don't think we're allowed to use public funds for private projects like that. I mean, I think I'm not sure about the APDC, but the historical commissions can purchase properties and restore and maintain them.
can or cannot.
Can,
Okay,
yeah.
that's, yeah, okay.
But
Let's go a little bit
a
far,
certain
yeah.
historical commission, like we're restoring a 1769 brick slave wall in Medford right now
Yeah,
that the historical commission is sponsoring. I think they use CPA funds on that too.
right,
But the historical commission is funding it. So some historical commissions have a much bigger budget than we do. So.
sure.
They're funding, so they're funding restoration on a private property or on a,
No, it's on a public property.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's generally what I've, when last time we looked into grants, is that it's very difficult to get anything for a private building. Yeah,
Okay. I wonder if there's, special loans or anything.
Sometimes there's private organizations that provide funds for preservation. I think one that Pat Slattery was involved with Montechusett. I forget the name of the organization. I think they might have provided funds for certain historic properties that were highly visible, like that church. But don't quote me. I don't. That was
That's
a while
interesting.
back. I don't know if they did that or not. But I know they did provide funds for certain projects for. And I don't think they were only public.
Gotcha.
So there might be organizations like that out there.
Right, and that might be something that I don't know if the historical committee could help found some, if there's interested citizens in town in like creating some sort of private fund or something, private, trusts, or I don't know how that would be administered exactly, but
Yeah.
it would give a avenue for that type of thing. That might be an interesting
mm-hmm.
thing to look into.
I'll send an email to listserv on Mass Historic Commission site, see if any other communities know of any. I don't think there is, but we'll ask around.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know there's some tax incentives, but beyond that, I don't know what there is.
Okay.
Okay, so, I mean, I guess, so in terms of the letter, sending the letter, I mean, I don't know, what did the letter say exactly?
I don't have it right in front of me, but
Okay.
just I think it said that we're concerned about
Yes,
it. It's
violation.
historic property. It is protected, so demolition by neglect is not allowed. And so we asked them to maintain the steeple. And then we said some other things too, including recognizing the work that they had already done to preserve the building. And we assured them that we had no intention of taking any kind of enforcement action on this matter at this time. It was simply urging them to preserve the property.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, given that they were in conversation with them, I don't know that I'd say let's hold off on the letter. Let's see where that goes.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's necessary if you just spoke to them about it.
But let me, I can follow up if you want and see where, do you know, I mean, can you get back to him, Cullen, regarding what date it was sent and the address
Sure.
it was sent to?
I can answer those questions.
And his email is rob@bowenbowen.com.
Okay.
BOWDEN.
BOWEN.com.
Yep. Yeah, I'd be happy to get back to him about that. And I don't know where we got Bowden from. If that was on the assessor's card or
Don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I can Cool. So, yeah, I think that's, so I'll take the action. I'm going to check in with him on, see if he has any updates on the estimates.
Okay, great.
New business. Hi McGrath, Historical Commission Chair. Update. The commission had a COVID outbreak last month, so all meetings were canceled due to lack of quorum. So the banners, the honoring military service, we'll present that to you at the next meeting, if we could be on the APDC agenda for the next meeting. We'll present a proposal for the military banners honoring those who have served.
Okay.
Also, the Historical Commission has been working on African Americans in Lunenburg history. It's hard to find.
Okay. Yeah.
They weren't well paid, and I don't think they were well valued. So you don't know where they were buried. We know there was a small community up on Flat Hill Road that not much is known about. We think those people were freed slaves that lived there. We're checking the 18th century censuses that show who was where the slaves were. They're all registered in the census. Yeah, so we're researching. It's going slow, but
Okay.
that is an ongoing project. And we're applying for a grant for a town-wide survey. Let me read you this and I'll inform you. Survey and planning grants, which will enable the commission to complete a town-approved project begun in 1998, concurrent with the survey and inventorying of historic buildings, homes, and sites within the proposed historic district at the time, which is now the APD, was a separate survey of homes and buildings appearing on a map of the town published in 1833 based on town-wide engineering survey by Cyrus Kilburn. Referred to today as K-houses, many are historically significant. The National Park Service, through the Mass Historic Commission, provides funding for survey and planning grants. Grant funds must be administered in accordance with federal and state requirements. Funds are 50-50 matching. Reimbursement grants for the project cost of $25,000 for the survey, with the town's share being $12,500. Each property survey record includes a photograph, locus map, and details such as the address, historic name, current and or original use, date of construction, style or form, name of architect or builder, construction materials, and more. Each survey becomes part of an inventory of historically significant homes and buildings filed in a database at the Mass Historic Commission. A limited sampling of historic homes reveals that President John Adams made several visits to one. Another was the home of Governor Boutwell, who later became Secretary of the Treasury, and the third was home to Luther Burbank, developer of the early version of the russet or Idaho potato, used to make French fries. The importance of recording data on historic homes and buildings cannot be overstated. Equally important is the preservation of these historic edifices, which serve as the basis for the writing of Lunenburg's history for the future generations. So So the commission's going to apply next cycle in 2024. Commission members have met with the finance committee and the town manager, and also with the select board, who approved that this go forward.
All right.
So the state would provide half the 25,000, the town would provide the other half.
You said this is a town-wide survey?
And townwide survey, yes.
Okay, so not just the historic district? but
No, most of the houses in the historic district, if not all of them, have been done back in the 80s,
Yeah.
when they created the historic district. So all those forms have been filled out and are on file with Mass Historic Commission, so that this encompasses the other houses on the Cyrus Kilburn map that are still exist in the town, as well as other historic houses and structures in town.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great.
So this is part of what I read earlier too, for the goals of the Mass Historic Commission for the next 7 years. They want all the communities to document their historic resources, so that there's a full record of all the historic resources in the state.
And would the funding go to a paid professional to
Yes.
do this work?
Before in the early days of the program, many cities and towns were able to utilize volunteers to conduct surveys. Since that time, requirements have become more stringent, and Mass Historical Commission recommends utilizing professional consultants.
Okay.
Everything's on computer now, and it's not as easy as it used to be, just walking over to the house and taking a picture and writing everything down about it.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember going through that and the whole changeover from the old Form B,
Yes, yeah,
to the electronic form, and
Yeah.
it got a bit messy. Yeah, so maybe this professional could enlist volunteers to help, but I think it's a good idea to have somebody, a paid professional to direct the
Yes.
project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and all the forms will be checked for the national, the APD and the National Historic District. So all those need to be digitized also.
Okay. Very good.
That's the end of my report.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's it on the
All right.
agenda. Says
All right.
next meeting, May 2nd, or to be determined.
I have a piece of further business, and that is a CTA application.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Is before me. Looks like somebody left this for me. And the description of the project is, I would say, not very complete, but I'll pass it around. It does include, mostly includes pictures of the existing condition of the roof. And they describe materials that they want to use to re-roof it, which I think look like they're going to be replacing asphalt shingles with asphalt shingles. So why don't I hand this around, you can have a look at it. Honestly, it looks like a like-for-like replacement to me of a non-historic roof with a non-historic roof. So I think this is the sort of thing that normally we would approve.
What's the address?
It's at 876 Massachusetts Avenue, which I'm not exactly sure where that is.
Okay, changes in your roof. Okay. Okay, it's the little brown home
Mm,
just down on the left as you go towards, just before you get to Marshall Park.
yeah, it's their old
Okay.
house.
Yeah, so here you go.
Yeah, great. Look at that. That does look like a little historic half house.
Yep.
Yep. TV half house. Yeah, it's a cool house. If the applicant were here with us, would any of us have any questions for them regarding the application?
Well, we don't know what the shingle is that he's putting on there.
The last page lists the material.
Oh, it does?
It's it just says it's a
Oh, it does, yeah,
Yeah.
but it doesn't show a picture.
no, it doesn't.
I mean, no, I don't have any questions. It looks, if it's just roof, like for,
Yeah.
existing, he sent us pictures of the existing one, so it doesn't look like anything there,
Yeah.
to my eye anyways. I mean, it's pretty clear his application says new roof.
Yeah.
Um,
It sure looks like, yeah, they're gonna call it a roofer to re-roof, so, so I would like to, vote on this application if we can. Just wondering if we feel like we have enough information that we can vote on it.
I make a motion to approve the CPA for 876 Mass Ave for the new roof.
Yes?
Richard?
Are you gonna second it?
I haven't seconded it. I was waiting for any further discussion. It looked like you were still reviewing the application.
Did you see the photos of the site? Or did you want to? Let's see.
So he's not the owner?
Um,
Yeah, I'm familiar with the house.
On the form, is it the roofing contractor who filled out the form?
I think it is, but we don't know.
Right.
From the phone number, it's not local.
Okay.
Oh, the cell phones, that's not, I mean, I have a 617 phone
Yeah.
number.
Yeah, could be. It's nice when people come to the meeting for a CPA, then there's I mean, we're assuming that that's what they're doing, right? We were over across from you on the Italian 8 there, we were assuming that, right, they were taking out windows in the front which was effect which was our business, but it turned out they were taking them out in the back, so you don't know unless you talk to them exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, no, it's, that's why I would say that the application is not very complete.
And
I
then
guess I would just
over
be curious
here,
to
we
see
went,
if they're
they
gonna
came
do
in with
anything else.
they came in with an architect, and they were replacing like for like windows, and
Right.
they didn't do that. they replaced them with six pane. It was four pane windows before,
Yeah,
and then they changed them with a different window.
right.
And then they're doing work on the front of the house that they didn't say they were going to be doing. And then the steps were coming out.
Sure. I mean, if we
So-
take the applicant at their word here, though, and that
Yeah.
it's roof,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's
I'm
any-
just saying this is how things get away from us.
Right, yeah.
Like at Amory Phelps House, all of a sudden, the historic windows are taken out. We had,
What did this? Did they file a CTA for that?
no,
Yeah.
they never
Okay,
filed
well that's.
it.
I mean, they filed a CTA.
And then over on Highland, he was supposed to just do sill work, and then all of a sudden, they're residing, they're ripping all the siding off this whole side of the house.
Right, yeah.
And that doesn't affect us. We're trying to help the guy. He filled out a CTA saying this is the work he was going to do. And then the next thing he's doing all this other work that isn't on the CTA. If we're going to have a CTA, then the work should be on there that's going to be done.
Well, I mean,
That affected the building department because he didn't have a building permit to do that work.
all right, so there's two separate issues here. There's one's compliance with the process,
Yeah.
and there's one if he submitted the form.
Yeah,
It's just roof. I think we're all looking here. We're not seeing any roof concerns. So, you know, I mean,
but we don't know. That's what I'm saying.
well,
'cause
we
it's-
never know. That's true with anything. I mean, anybody in
It's
town could be
true,
doing
it's
something
true,
without.
But you know more if the person's in there. Like we didn't know with the on the Ritter, the architect came in, talked to us. We had questions, and then
Right, so that's why I'm asking.
there's a lot you didn't
What would you
know.
ask the applicant if he were here? Because if we have specific questions.
I would like confirmation. I would like to know what he's using for shingles.
Okay,
What would be? What
Is
could
it
he be
is it
using?
going to be like for like? I could use purple shingles.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think the village district bylaw covers colors. though.
Color of
It
shingles.
doesn't really, yeah, it doesn't.
So he can use purple shingles. I mean, I don't hope he doesn't, but you know, I don't. It's fine if he does. I don't think we have the.
Is there any roof work being done, fascia work, or adjoining work to what happens when he takes the roof off and the whole edge of the roof is rotten and he has to replace that? What happens?
Okay,
I mean, yeah, I assume.
Is that going to affect the appearance of the house in the front?
What would he have to do? Yeah, I mean, that would be a. If it's just reconstruction of repair stuff, I mean, I don't know that. Again, I don't. I mean, based on what this bylaw was written for to prevent demolition, this is somebody who's just trying to fix the roof, so which will help the structural integrity of the house. Like,
Yeah, that's what we're going to disagree on that. I was on the committee too. Becky Lantry and I were appointed from the historical commission to advise the planning board on different things because the APD was taking over the demolition delay. So a lot of this stuff, that's where we got historic value from.
well, I think that's what you wanted to be there. I don't think that's what passed.
We'll go over that in the
The
when we
review. Yeah.
review the
yeah,
bylaw.
yeah.
You can make a motion and vote on it. I don't think there's enough, I'm not comfortable.
You're not comfortable just with the application as it is?
No.
How would you feel, should I just, he listed a phone number, could we just give the applicant a call and would that be all right? If we
Sure.
can put him on speakerphone and we have, I mean, I would like to hear him say, it's like, no, I don't intend to do any work beyond what's on the application, I'm just gonna remove the roof and put on a new one.
Yeah,
And I think that would be satisfactory to me. So let's give him a call and see if we can get him.
Okay. Yeah. He's calling, or you calling?
Are you calling him right now? Okay.
no,
Oh, okay. I thought you were-
Hi, Mike. This is Colin Dwyer from the Architectural Preservation District Commission. We are currently in meeting. I have this number on the phone. The name of the applicant is not Mike, it's Ted Gaudet or Godot. It's Gaudet. Just had a couple of questions about the application. If you get this message quickly, just call us right back. And you can call this number. My area code is 505-795-3599. Thank you.
Okay, option B, what if we were to just vote to provisionally approve pending Richard talking to this guy and satisfying whatever questions you might have. And then, you let Colin know that you did it, and then it would be approved if you're cool with it.
I don't know. Yeah. I would be fine with that. I don't know if procedurally we're allowed to approve things that way.
I don't see why not.
So what?
Provisional approval. So basically, we vote to approve contingent on your reporting back within the next week that you've, had a conversation. Well, we approve it contingent on you getting in touch with them and getting your questions answered. And if you're not satisfied, then either we have to schedule another meeting or wait for the next meeting or whatnot.
Right.
We can do that?
I don't see who's going to
Yes.
stop us.
Yeah. I guess we could.
I mean, this is like kind of stuff you do when meeting frequency is once a month.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we could be into the next millennium.
Mr. McGrath, is that satisfactory to you, or? would
Yeah, I
you-
could do that, sure.
Okay. All right. So, do you think 1 week would be enough? And I guess we could, or
Yeah, I'll
I
try.
guess we could approve it provisionally. I guess we don't have to, as contingent upon your approval.
Yeah, I'll email them tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, so what this means is it won't be denied per se because of whatever, but it just
Right.
won't be approved and we would have to meet together and you could bring up, and maybe you have something really reasonable, like actually he was planning to rip off the front of his house while he's doing the roof, or it might be, in which case we say, oh gee, thanks for checking, Richard. Or it might be, well, some alteration that you're not okay with if the rest of us are okay with, in which case we might say, well, thanks for the fact finding and, we still want to approve or whatever, but you get the
Okay.
idea.
Yeah,
So yeah, you can. I will vote to approve it provisionally on stated conditions. All in favor?
hi.
Aye.
Okay. So really, it's in your hands, Richard. If you can just give us the word that
Yeah.
you're satisfied with the application, then we can.
Do you want to give me the CTA and then
Yeah.
I'll talk to them and then I'll fill it out and turn it in if it's a go. And
Uh,
I'll let you know if it's not.
Okay.
Thanks. That sounds great.
Great. Excellent. Do we have any other items on the agenda? Other than, I guess we just need to schedule a meeting for next week, for next month.
Yeah. Well, you.
For, I guess that would be May 1st. Again. Quick start. Does May 1st work for, or no, 2nd, I beg your pardon, May
Yeah.
2nd.
May 2nd.
May 2nd.
Sounds good to me.
If that works for members present, I will go ahead and schedule that. Okay. Are there any other, let me just get the notes here.
Yeah, May 2 looks like it works for me.
Okay.
I got one more piece of business. I received some feedback that someone who's familiar with the building that if we were to meet in the basement, we could actually use. They have software down there that we can be on Zoom.
Okay.
Might facilitate us getting CTA applicants to show up because they could show up on Zoom as well.
Yeah, great.
Yes. And the other thing is we wouldn't have to, the town wouldn't have to spend additional money for filming because we can record the Zoom. And there's a device down there that does a 360 and locks in on the speaker and whatnot.
Okay.
So
I'd be fine with that and meet downstairs. You might need to just go through a little technology review for that, but
yeah, and I'd be happy to use my laptop to fire up the Zoom or whatever.
okay.
I guess it does mean we'll have to schedule a Zoom call with. I don't know if the town has a Zoom account
I
or.
bet they do. Yeah,
I bet
we'd
they
have
do.
to- but that's probably not a. I mean, right now we're scheduling through PAC. We can just schedule through
Whatever.
Zoom,
Yeah.
And yes,
Okay.
I think that would.
Do you want to?
Fine
Do you want?
with me.
Do you want to pursue that? Do you want me to talk to somebody about the Zoom, or do you want to do that?
I think I will because I've already been in. Yeah,
Good.
I've already kind of been in that with reserving the space with the clerk, and then also want to know what we're up to. So
Awesome.
I will look into that.
Perfect. It's very cozy down there. There's water down there too.
Yeah.
That's the other nice
Okay.
part. We can drink as much as we want.
Excellent. I look
Water.
forward to that.
I mean,
Okay. I would like to make a motion to adjourn
Second.
this meeting.
they're
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 9:06.